What is up, guys? EJ here, back with another video, and today it's going to be my Blu-ray DVD collection 2020. This will be my overview video of my whole collection. Yes, I am doing my collection videos that I've done a few times on my channel. A lot of people have been asking for it, and I promised I would do it this year after I finished my 2018 updates. So here it is. This is the collection overview. As you know, if you've followed me before, I have all my movies arranged by genre, and I've got almost like 30 genres. Every movie is alphabetized in each genre. So I'll just be showing you my my whole collection right now. I've got all my collections in these big bookcases, DVD cases. They store about 500 and plus or so in DVDs. I've got 8 of them. 6 of them are in my bedroom and 2 are in the living room. So let's get to it. So up first we basically have the action section. That goes down to there. Then there's a space. Then we have my adventure collection. Sort of historical action movies, if you like. That's the way I look at adventure. Then we have animation. All my Disney animated movies, Pixar, you name it. If it's animated, it's in this section. And that goes down to my Christmas movies. Not all Christmas movies, couple like holiday movies, Thanksgiving. So, and that leads into the beginning of my comedy section. It starts down there at the bottom. And that goes on to the next case, comedy, one of my biggest sections. Then that ends right there. Then it goes on to my crime section. Just like heist movies, movies about crime, not necessarily organized crime like mafia movies, but because I have a different section for that. Got my Snatch Deluxe Edition right there facing out, and that ends right there. Then on to my disaster films. Love a good disaster movie. Then on to my documentaries. Yeah, disaster films and documentaries, 2 of my smallest sections. And then that's the beginning of drama. Drama is probably my biggest section by far. That goes all the way to the bottom. And more drama. This is the last case on this side of the room. More drama. It's like a full half case for the drama section. That ends right there. Then we go on to my espionage section. This doesn't include James Bond films, and that ends right there. And then wait, that's the way it should be. Espionage, and then it goes on to my exploitation films. Lots of great movies from the 70s. Sleazy films, sexploitation, Nazi exploitation, blaxploitation. And then the final section on this case are my family films, down here at the bottom. Alright guys, moving on to the other side of the room. We have the beginning of my fantasy film section. Got my Lord of the Rings extended editions. And that leads to film noir. Then we have my horror section. Also one of my biggest sections now. Probably behind comedy and drama. Horror might be my third biggest section. Not as big as most people's horror collections, especially those who are really into horror. But I have my fair share, that's for sure. That's the end of the horror down there. Then we have my James Bond section. That goes down there. And then also on top, I have just my Bond display in general, but that also includes my Ultimate Edition Bond. Okay, and then back down to the bottom we have my Mafia section, like I mentioned before. I think my top 10 Mafia films, every film either contains Al Pacino or Robert De Niro in it, which is interesting. Alright, up next, on to the next case, we have my martial arts section. And then we have my military section. Films about the military or just whatever, where I put films like that. Then we have my music section, which includes movies about music, musicals, and sort of movies about, or just DVDs about bands that I like, musical bands, artists, live concerts, that kind of stuff. That's in my music section. Then we have my mystery section. Then up next we have my romance section, which starts right there. Films about love and sex. One and the same, if you ask some people. Alright, up next we have my sci-fi section. Also one of my biggest sections. Love sci-fi movies, or movies that just take place in space or are about space. Some of these aren't technically sci-fi films, but I like to put movies about space in there as well. Then that leads me to the last bookcase in my room, more sci-fi. Yeah, since I have space now, I like to put box sets and just films I like facing out so you can see the covers, just to fill in the spaces really. But now I have space to add more stuff, since now I'm up to 8 cases. Alright, that's the end of the sci-fi section right there. Then we have my silent films collection right here. Then that goes on to sports movies, DVDs with sports highlights of my favorite teams, documentaries, or not necessarily documentaries about sports, but just sports videos in general. I love sports as much as I love movies, which isn't the case for many people, but sports was really one of my first passions. I always say I'm passionate about 3 things: movies, sports, and music, and not necessarily in that order. So that is my sports section. Up next we have my stand-up comedy section. Just videos of stand-ups that I enjoy. Definitely not comedy movies, but just movies or DVDs, stand-up DVDs. Alright, up next we have my superhero section. Probably the section that's grown the most in the past decade, that's for sure. I certainly wouldn't have made this section 20 years ago. but with the proliferation of superhero movies, and these also include superhero animated TV shows, box sets as well. There are my X-Men animated on the falling over right there, and down the bottom we have my teen section. This is my teen movies. Not all of them are comedies, just films about teenagers. Some a drama as well as comedy. Alright, so that is the collection inside the bedroom. I'll also show you my little Star Wars display, which is above here. So I've got a lightsaber up there. Got some vehicles, figures. I've got a dewback with a stormtrooper, sand trooper on there. Sorry, my AT-ST. Probably my favorite Star Wars collectible is my AT or AT, as some people call it. I don't know which one it is supposed to be called, but I've always heard Kevin Smith refer to it as a AT-AT. I've always called it an AT-AT. And then hanging from the ceiling, got my Vader TIE Fighter, my regular TIE Fighter, my X-Wing, and my Millennium Falcon. So that's kind of what it looks like. Kind of looks cool when you look at it from this angle. Alright guys, moving on into the living room. It's hard to get behind here because the couch is right here, so I moved it out a little bit so it's easier to see. But we have the beginning of my thrillers section. Pretty big section. Big fan of a lot of thrillers. And then that leads to my war section. I love war films. I'm a big sort of war buff in general, especially World War II, which is my favorite period of history. And then that leads to my westerns. Love a good western. Lots of great John Wayne and Clint Eastwood films. Then that's the end of the westerns, and then that leads to the Criterion collection, which is basically this whole bottom half of this DVD case. More Criterions. Criterion sale is going on right now, like I said in my last video, at Barnes & Noble. So check that out if you want to get some new ones. I have a few on order, hoping to check the stock again, because some of the ones I wanted they didn't have in stock. So I'm looking into getting some Criterions this month. And then my last case is my entire TV collection. All my TV show box sets of TV shows that I've enjoyed over the years, from my youth as well, growing up in England. Lots of great TV shows, some of which I still have not watched all of them. There's all my Game of Thrones. There are all my South Parks down there. That 70s show and so on. Let's tighten this up a little bit. Yeah, it should be like that. And that's the bottom of the TV section. So that is my complete DVD collection. Also on top of this I have my die-cast car collection. You might not have seen some of these. I have made a video about a few of these when I started collecting these, but I've got some more. So there you have it. That is my complete DVD and Blu-ray collection overview, and starting tomorrow we'll get into each genre, starting off with the action films. I plan to do at least one genre a day until it's all complete, so it'll probably take a month and a half, who knows how long, and if I'll be able to keep up, because they're tiring videos to make, especially when I have to pull out each DVD and show you guys. But anyway, that is my DVD Blu-ray collection overview for 2020. Thank you for watching as always, and until next time, I'll see you.
Bond. James Bond.